It looks like a regular mini truck from the outside, but it's there that the similarity ends. These specially prepared trucks are built from the ground up to do just one thing: off-road racing. Riverside Raceway is famous for high-speed sports car racing, but on this day, the track is being ignored, and the dirt is used to make life difficult for the off-roaders. What's the difference between normal desert racing and a place like Riverside? We listen to Chevy driver Jerry McDonald.
Well, in our particular case, the truck is basically built for the long desert races, and it's a little bit heavy to, for this kind of a course. And but what we try and do is we try and change the gear ratios and get it to where it'll accelerate a little bit quicker, and try and put a little bit more horsepower in it for out here because it doesn't have to last quite as long. And the desert durability is really the key thing. You have to finish those long races, but out here you can try a little harder.
Durability is the name of the game when you spend half your time in the air. This means having an experienced crew to keep the vehicle together.
The crew is really where it's at out in the desert, because it really takes a long time for these races to be run off, and the guy with the least amount of problems is the guy that's going to usually end up winning.
Builder Clyde Smith knows this Class 7 truck better than anyone.
Class 7 is a stock class. It has reasonably free rules as far as suspension's concerned. It must retain a lot of the stock components, like the stock chassis, for instance, stock body. And but apart from that, you're allowed to modify suspension a lot for increased travel, add shock absorbers.
The engine gets special attention.
It uses a stock block and heads, and then we go through it and put a modified camshaft in it. Compression ratios changed, components are balanced, and generally engine's blueprinted from there, and then it creates about 260 horsepower, and it runs through a 5-speed transmission and through a lock differential. The frame itself is stock. We're not allowed to change that, but the suspension is modified. It uses all Chevy ball joints and components like that, etc., but the arms themselves are increased in length to allow us to have more travel. And we have more shock absorbers added to it, and the reason for that is that with the severe desert terrain and the amount of travel it has, a single shock would overheat and burn out in no time. So we put 3 shocks per wheel on it, simply just to keep the temperatures down.
Clyde likes to keep the temperatures down, but we like to keep the temperatures up, because we're going rockin' and four-wheeling. There's not much love shown for a truck during the race, but in the pits there is plenty of tender loving care shown for the vehicles and their transporters. Whether it be graphics or mechanical components, there is little space wasted on a modern-day race car. It's obvious this is state-of-the-art equipment, but there's always a little nostalgia everywhere you go. For Larry Schwackhofer, it's a pair of 55 Chevys.
Car we built originally in 1980, and then we changed and modified the chassis in 81, and we've been running it 5 seasons now, and it's been doing a real good job for us. So we run against Ford Rancheros, AMC Pacers, Novas, Camaros, just about anything. There's some Nissan. We've run against Ford Cortinas, just about any kind of two-wheel drive passenger type vehicle. We have to stay with a stock frame, and we have to use the stock A-arms. We can modify ball joints and pivot points. So, you know, we've got 4 shocks per corner in the front, 3 shocks per corner in the rear. So we have done the modifications to survive a course like the 1000.
You still have to ask yourself, why would a guy run a car more than 30 years old?
Just always liked them. I used to street race them, and I liked the box frame that came on it. I liked the design of the front A-arms, so everything was just right, and I could have the car I liked, so I went with it.
It takes a big effort to keep these vehicles together. There is constant design and testing of components to ensure not only strength, but the ability to cope with dust, water, and heat. The constant pounding takes its toll on vehicles and drivers. Young Danny Thompson was to find out what having a well-engineered vehicle means to your well-being. Watching the other trucks negotiate these obstacles makes it look quite easy, but a little too much speed coming in means you will be launched into space. Let's take a look at Thompson's view of the action. In slow motion, we clearly see Thompson's reactions to the accident. Notice that he maintains a grip on the steering wheel to keep his arms from flying out the window. When the vehicle finally comes to rest, he quickly kills the ignition to stop the engine and fuel pumps. One must have instinctive reactions to stay healthy in this business.
It wasn't a whole lot of fun that time around. They had changed the course a little bit, and it got a little bit rougher, and we had made it through that same place yesterday, flat out. And I went ahead and tried it today for qualifying, and just with a little bit of difference, they changed in the bumps and stuff, it didn't quite make it. So it didn't work out too good, but we're going to work on it, get it fixed, and we'll be there for the race. Mr. Billy, my name is John. What can I do for you?
Hi, John. Can you fill her up? Kind of in a hurry.
Yeah, but it'll be a couple of minutes.
Well, I guess I'll listen to the radio.
Frank, he took 8 gallons. That'll be $2.
Until recently, most off-road racing has been done in remote desert areas. Although it's great for the drivers, the logistics do not allow much in the way of spectator involvement. With the advent of stadium racing, that's all changed. Now you can enjoy comfortable seating, lots of cool drinks, and see all the skills and thrills that off-road has to offer.
Darling, number 93, Jeff Watson. Off-roading in the long courses and the short courses for a good many years. The whole family is here probably watching. And the Elrod's probably cheering crazily right now, as it is Elrod in front, Rodriguez in second. They're about to catch Butch Darling. Halfway signs.
peripheral port from Mazda. Puts out about 275 horsepower.
What stock?
Stock? I'm not sure. They not run the rotary in the pickup truck. They run an RX-7. I'm not sure what it is in stock offhand. Mainly air suspension with air shocks, air struts, as you would call them. Springs removed in this truck. The rear springs are removed in this truck and going to be removed in the other truck soon. There are Fox shocks, 13-inch travel in the rear, approximately 9 in the front. General tires, the wheels 1250s in the back, 1050s in the front, with air pressure varies from track to track.
There's lots of technology here. Stadium racing lets the fans see the vehicles and their drivers up close. IndyCar driver Al Unser Jr. is here to try his hand at off-road racing.
Al Unser Jr., how do you like this off-road racing?
I really like it. It's a lot of fun, and I got a good team in Jeep and a good sponsor in Stroh's, and we're having a good time.
Who prepares the Jeep?
Enduro Racing prepares it. Dick Landfield is the owner of Enduro Racing.
How many races will you do this year?
Well, hopefully we'll do all the stadium races. I'm only going to do the stadium races, and hopefully all of them.
You've got a pretty full schedule. You're IROC plus all the Indy cars.
Yeah, we do. But, you know, racing's racing, and I love it.
To be competitive in any form of racing requires spending considerable sums of money. Jim Cook describes what is needed in the suspended Odyssey class.
Well, they're a lot like you would see in one of the buggy classes. They're a fully suspended, more like a car than an ATV. They always compare us to an ATV, but there really isn't a lot of similarity. You've got a AA arm front suspension. You've got about 14 inches of front end travel. You've got 13 inches of rear end travel, IRS suspension, just like the buggies. They're basically just a scaled down dune buggy. Every year, if you don't buy a new car each year, it's outdated. You can't be competitive with last year's car.
If you go all the way with the open checkbook, what could you put in one of these?
$15,000, $20,000.
It's tough in this sport to keep your racing budget in the black, but you can have fun trying.